Jazzcast Pros.
Consider, are you living your front seat life? Or are you being Ubered around in the back seat on a ride to someone else's destination? I just love the fact that your show is called Front Seat, because it's like we've been in the back seat for a long time, and it's just good to be in the ride, but in control and driving.
Listen, if you didn't understand before today, Purpose just let you know what it means to live a front seat life. And I know you know someone that can get what they need from this conversation. Healing, understanding their journey, finding their path, therapy, what it means to ask for help, all of that.
Welcome to Living the Front Seat Life. I'm your host, Kelly Marie, and I invite you to take this journey with me. We're going to be talking about all things mental health and emotional well-being. You see, I am a overcomer. If you are interested in figuring out the path for you to determine how and where you will drive your future, this is the place to be. We get to determine the ride. We may not get to determine the weather or who's on the road with us or if it's going to be a scenic route or not. But we are the drivers. So join me on this ride, living the front seat life.
Welcome to Living the Front Seat Life podcast. It is your host, Coach Kelly Marie, and it is a pleasure, as always, to be here with you, recording from Buffalo. But I have two guests that are actually not in Buffalo. So what I love about the work that I do is that we can connect people all over the world. But before we jump into our conversation with our two guests, I just want to remind you to like, subscribe, and share. You know, we have incredible conversations here, learning about and talking about what it means to live a front seat life, what it means to take control of your journey, to take control of your ride and decide how you are going to drive, right? So like, subscribe, share, let other folks know what a great time we have here in our 15 to 20 minutes together every week. Also, feel free to reach out to me. I want to hear your stories. I want to know what you want to talk about. What are some topics that are interesting to you? I want to make sure that we're covering those as well. So you can reach me at frontseatlife@gmail.com. Really easy. Or of course on Instagram or Facebook, The Front Seat Life. So this week I have two incredible women. My first guest, Shawntina, we go back, I'll just say a couple years, like decades, you guys, like it's more than a couple years, but she has really just lived within and breaking down boundaries. You know, anything that has come her way, she has tackled it, accomplished it, and soared. And I cannot wait for you to hear a part of her story. And we also have Purpose with us, and she is an incredible woman. We met, they have a radio show that I want them to tell you about. And we met on the radio show, and we just had a great time. So I thought it would be not robbery, right? To bring them onto Living the Front Seat Life so we can all chat. Shawntina, how are you today?
I am super fantastic. Thanks for having us, Kelly.
I appreciate you so much. So let me bring Purpose in. Purpose, how are you today?
Hey, y'all, I'm doing great. It's great to be here. Thank you so much, Kelly. I'm doing well. I'm just enjoying the ride right now. I'm learning to be content with being in the car and being in control, even if there are days when I'm not. That's where I'm at.
And that's what it's all about. We don't get to control the weather. We don't get to control the scenery, but we dictate and determine what road we're going to take, how fast we drive, how slow we drive. Are we going to pull over and take pictures and take the scenic route? Are you going to take a detour? You know, those are the decisions that we get to make in our life. And that is really what living a front seat life is all about. You know, I always hear people, you know, laugh and joke and say, Jesus, take the wheel, right? And it dawned on me that we, through study and just prayer and me trying to figure out how I was supposed to live, that we are equipped. We were created equipped to be able to make these decisions. We were built and created and made and molded in a way to live our life in and on purpose. So tell me, Shawntina, a little bit about your background. Let people know, a little bit about who you are, where you came from, your backstory.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm Shawntina Harris Jones, and I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. I'm now migrated from Florida to North Carolina, where I met my wonderful business partner. We're just having a grand time. We're all things women. So we cultivate what we call womb, women operating multiple businesses. So we are trying to build a tribal community that we can really assist everyone. Everyone, in our community, sometimes we don't really, support each other the way we should. So that's what we're all about. All things women and building and networking together.
I absolutely love it. Purpose, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your story?
Well, I am originally from New York. That's where I was born. And my family decided to move back to where they were, born at in North Carolina. And so they brought me to North Carolina when I was a junior in high school. And I stayed in North Carolina, went to a couple of years of college. And then, for whatever crazy reason, I decided to go into the Army. And I went and did about I did almost 6 years in the military. And during that battle, I was actually human trafficked. Yeah, really crazy story. But I was sent out to sea while I was in the Army, and during that time while I was out to sea, I did a period of time where I was trafficked by a supervisor in the military. Once I got out the military, I, maintained all of that within me, didn't tell a soul. Only, my first sergeant on the boat with me knew what had happened. And 12 years, I'm sorry, not 12 years after that, but 12 years ago, I was very, very sick. And one of the doctors sent me to therapy, and the therapist said, I think your physical issues are coming from something that happened very traumatic. And that's when it poured out of me what had happened. And once I began to talk about it, it opened up a whole life for me of freedom and peace. And it was just a new life, a new beginning. And that's where I began to be what I call an unconditional tribal sister, what we call that on our radio show, where I could trust again and trust women, trust people, and ultimately trust God. So that's kind of how I got to where I am today, and grateful to be here, and crazy as it sounds, grateful for the opportunity of everything that I went could be whole today.
Purpose, you're incredible. Thank you for sharing. That hit my heart, and I just thank you. I'm sorry for everything that you went through, and thankful that your doctor recognized that it might be something more than a physical reaction, a physical issue. Do you mind telling us what the process of learning to trust again was like?
I'm sure you all have heard it many, many times. It started with, first of all, getting it out of me, just literally talking about what my truth was, getting the truth, the reality out of the inner physical shell that I have, which was also my spiritual shell too. Just getting it out of my being And then once I was able to no longer hold the facts captive and the facts bondage within me, I was able to forgive. And first of all, forgive myself. Forgive myself for holding it so long, as if I had to, as if I needed to, as if it was necessary for me to keep something like that. I had to forgive myself for that. And then I was able to forgive people along the way, held some type of responsibility for the things that had happened to me. I was able to forgive them because hurting people hurt people. And there were reasons for every person involved for why they were involved. So I was able to look at my truth and their truths and understand that we all made some type of decision or reaction, or we all operated in some type of consequence that caused not only me, but their bondages as well. So I really believe that was it in a nutshell, was just coming to the reality of hurting people. Well, for sure, without even knowing, hurt people.
Even with the best of intentions, right? Like you can do your best to not hurt someone, but if you're operating from a place of hurt, a place of brokenness, it is impossible to raise and to have healthy relationships when you are not yourself healthy. So Shawntina, can you talk about what it means to come alongside Purpose and support her in that unconditional sisterhood? How does that look? How does that work between you two?
We met in an unlikely place in a nail salon, and we've been pretty much just unconditional tribal sisters since then, and built a beautiful friendship. And for me, Kelly, it's such an honor to be the person that she chose to trust. And so I support her in allowing her to be her authentic self without judgment, and just being there, and sometimes being there is not necessarily being a sounding board, but being a loving hug, an open heart to receive her. And she does the same for me. There's no judgment, there's no condemnation. It's just, I'm here on this floor with you. We're going to get through this moment. And definitely a beautiful symmetry of friendship. People think we've been friends for years. We just have the likeliness because we're really both Jesus lovers, if you will.
As the two of you build your friendship and build your professional lives, so you have this personal and professional relationship, how do you teach other women to have that same type of understanding and compassion and empathy?
I would say, and I'm sure Purpose is going to definitely chime in on this. On our radio show, I'm called Lady Knowledge, and she's called Lady Wisdom, because you need both, right? So you need application of the knowledge, which is then becomes wisdom over time. You get better with it. So I would say, to answer that question, is that we have to be the change we want to see. So the first thing we love is to love comes within yourself. So when you don't have it, when you learn how to self-love yourself, you can actually appreciate another woman and not be intimidated by her beauty, her smarts. You can actually enhance it. You can let them know, hey, you are beautiful, and mean nothing about it. Or, hey, and collaborate with them and want nothing for it. You just want to see them glow and shine and be even better than what they already are. They're already amazing. Amazing people doing amazing things. Now imagine us doing it together. How much more wonderful will it be?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Shantina has said. And also I believe that you have to together with other women and not have an ulterior motive. You have to be pure when you enter the room. You have to come more so with the intent of how can I bless the relationship than how can I get something out of the relationship. And that's my sole desire for Shawntina. When we're in business, my whole desire is how can I bless what she has created and what ideas she has brought forth? How can I enhance it? And she does the same thing with me. How can I enhance this thought, this idea, this beginning, this creation? And I think together, when you come in and you're not trying to make your own platform or make your own inner development, but you come in trying to be a blessing to the business relationship, to the personal relationship, that's when you become unconditionally, you're unconditionally in your sisterhood. When it's not about you, when it's not about you, that's what makes it an unconditional tribal sisterhood.
That is so good. I was over here clapping. People often miss your point. They want to receive, they want to get something for whatever it is that they're doing, and it may be a good thing, but it isn't always coming from a good place. And so to pour into others so that they can grow, and that is the sole purpose of you pouring into them, that is the key. When we talk about happiness, when we talk about joy, we find those things in giving and being grateful and sharing. But at the same time, we can, especially as women, often give too much. How do you go about ensuring that you're not giving too much of yourselves?
Well, I think that's even more powerful statement. I think mental stability is so important, that because you can actually be an overgiver, and you got to check your mindset, because you got to ask yourself, why am I overgiving? Is it to be accepted, acknowledged? And what is the greater purpose? Why are you doing it? That's what I would really say, is that you got to really check your own mental stability, so that you have to manage your life like a portfolio. Manage it so that it's not intrusive into your own life, where you know how those relationships start getting intrusive, where it's unleavened. And are you giving more into the relationship than what you're receiving back?
Right. That's what I call an unbalanced relationship, where you're constantly being weighted with the thoughts and the cares of another relationship, but you can never find that person when you have a weight or when you have a care. They're not even reachable. And so I know that I knew Shawntina was going to bring up that portfolio, managing your portfolio. And I was going to say that if she didn't, because that's something that she talks about that's really powerful. But also, there's something that I really respect her for, is that she's going to say, wait a minute, what does the word say about that? Let me find that in the word. Let's go to God about that. And I think that is one of the most beautiful things about our specific relationship, is that we can get excited about something on our own, or we can get off sometimes, but she's quick to say, wait a minute, let's go to God about that. Let's pray about that first. Let's review that and see, is this where we should be? And so that's the thing that I honor about our relationship, that it's based on a sound relationship with our Father.
I love your relationship, and here to hear the two of you talk about each other with so much love and understanding and kindness. I want to know more about the portfolio. Shawntina, the portfolio. I need more information. Tell me about it.
The portfolio. I will not take credit for that at all. I was just came back from a leadership conference, and it was an incredible speaker. she stated that we're taught incorrectly. We're taught to balance our lives. Well, you only have 100% to give. So, how can you balance and become equal? Because if I give 50% over here and 50% over here, I'm failing at both. There's no such thing as balance. What I have to do is give 100% at a time to whatever I'm working on. So if I'm working on our radio show, I have to give 100% of that. If I'm working in our new life tax business or whatever business, or if I'm working as a mother, I have to dedicate and allocate myself to that thing 100%, so that I am getting excellency out of the thing that I want to sow into. Because we live in sowing and reaping. So we have to manage our lives like a portfolio. So I'm going to look at the days of the week and say, okay, Tuesday, today we get to do the podcast. And when I do that, I'm doing nothing else. I'm doing 100% of that. I'm not multitasking. I'm going to give 100% of me. So I thought that was so impactful, because we are taught, you got to balance. And then what happens in your psyche, in your subliminal coding messaging, you're not feeling like a good mom because I didn't get to do this or that. But if you dedicate, it doesn't mean, hey, you're not a mom 7 days a week. No, but that's why we need each other. You allocate someone else that can give 100%. And that's what you do, right? When you put your child in daycare because you're at work, you are expecting 100% of excellency on those days or at that time that you can't give. So that's what that's more about, managing your life appropriately. Because after all, it's our life, and it's up to no one else but us to get the best out of it.
This is so good. I'm sitting over here just smiling because Tuesdays are my podcast days. Wednesdays are Bible study days. Thursdays are my music lesson days. Friday is like my day off. Monday is the day that I have board meetings. Like I separate my days so I know what day of the week I have to focus on a certain thing. And it goes back to me to mindfulness, being present in this moment, giving this moment everything, right? From listening to hearing to smelling to touching to being present in the moment. And it takes away so much stress when you're not focused on all these other things. The time will come to concentrate on that thing. But for right now, this is where the focus is. This is what gets the energy. So I love that, a name to put on it, the portfolio. I love that so much. And so wherever you got it from, kudos and thank you to that speaker, because we'll be using it here at Front Seat Life, and we'll be giving credit to the anonymous speaker, because it won't be something that I created. It's something that came from our conversation. So I want to make sure that people can reach out to the two of you. I want them to be able to tune into the radio show. So give folks all of that information.
Okay, well, you can reach us. You can like and subscribe to the Ladies First radio show on our Facebook account. We have a group where we upload all of our information to, or our data. Well, you can also find us on Instagram. You can also email us at purposebradley@gmail.com. That would go directly to Purpose. She was amazing at administrative things. That's why she's awesome and connected to me because, yeah, that's not my strong suit. Email her if you want to get in touch with us directly. Again, that's purposebradley@gmail.com. And you can also find us on the internet, because we also have our own CBD line, and it's called getcbdfreedom.com. Getcbdfreedom.com. So you can support us in multiple ventures. You can find me on Facebook at Shawntina, Shawntina Harris Jones. And then the Instagram is Lady Knowledge.
Okay.
Our radio show, you can find us, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher, 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 Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify And you would then look up W.
D as in David, R B as in boy, media.com. And that's the actual radio station. Or you can actually just go to www.wdrbmedia.com and click listen live on Tuesday mornings at 6 a.m. And you'll listen right to us on the Ladies First show.
And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much, ladies. I would love to have you back on the show and dive deeper into what it means to build sisterhood, what it means to have that unconditional support system. We talk about that a lot here, knowing who to call, knowing when to call, knowing which person to call, because everybody isn't there for everything. And I would love to bring you back to talk some more when you have some time. So any closing thoughts that you want to leave with folks?
So why don't we let wisdom give that?
Well, consider, are you living your front seat life? Or are you being Ubered around in the back seat on a ride to someone else's destination?
Ooh-wee.
I'm sorry, my God.
That'll preach.
Are you being Ubered around?
Listen, what? Purpose. That is a... Well, you got to hear. Listen, if you didn't understand before today, Purpose just let you know what it means to live a front seat life. You know what it's like to be on somebody else's time in somebody else's vehicle, going where they want to go, how they want to take you there, and you have no say. You just sit in the back seat. You'll get there eventually when they decide that you're going to get there. Oh, Purpose. That's good. I'm not even going to go off. That was, we'll save that for another conversation. That is perfect to end our show. Ladies, thank you so much. I just enjoyed today and I appreciate all that you're doing. Again, I can't wait to have you back. Until the next time, I encourage you all to please like, subscribe, and share. This was an incredible conversation, and I know you know someone that can get what they need from this conversation: healing, understanding their journey, finding their path, therapy, what it means to ask for help, all of that. I know you got all of that out of today because I got it all out of today, plus more. So until the next time, I encourage you to be the light.